As the country begins to grapple with the realities of Roe v. Wade being overturned, some companies have seemed to be stepping up. AT&T, Disney, Microsoft, and Amazon are all among those who have publicly pledged to cover their employees' travel expenses so they can access abortions uninhibited. But all four companies have also donated to supporters of state abortion bans the very laws that will make such travel necessary. Now, that's according to reporting by Insider and Bloomberg, which NBC News has not yet independently verified. But according to Insider, AT&T actually tops this list with more than $1 million to anti-abortion lawmakers behind trigger laws in 13 states. Now, we did reach out to all four companies. None responded except for Microsoft, which provided a statement that reads in part, Microsoft will continue to do everything we can under the law to support our employees in accessing critical health care. Microsoft did not respond to our question about contributions to anti-abortion lawmakers. Joining me now is Sasha Thompson. She's the CEO and founder of the Equity Equation. Sasha, so happy to have you here. I really want to get into this because AT&T plans to continue to provide financial support for employees who have to travel. However, we just said they're a part of the largest publicly traded corporate funder of politicians supporting these laws. So I'm just curious, what role does the private sector play in even creating this landscape? And what's their responsibility in fixing it? Because you can't dance with the devil and the Lord at the same time.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me, Tiffany. You know, this is something that really has come to the forefront in the last few years, right? Prior to the summer of 2020, companies weren't making these types of statements. And so they're now feeling that they have to step up. They have to say something. So that part of this is new. The giving to political campaigns is not. That has always been happening. And I think we're now at a time where employees and customers and clients are asking for more transparency. And so that's how we're starting to see both sides of this coin being played. We're starting to see, okay, wait a minute, you can't say one thing here and then act another way. And so we're starting to have this reconciliation that's taking place in corporate spaces.
Yeah, well, this reconciliation, there's always a discussion about it's not, should we look to the private sector to write this course? Maybe the private sector has too much role in shaping policy. It's the government's job to do that. But even when you talk about the private sector, to get benefits, to say, hey, I have to go travel to get an abortion, it's very invasive. One, you have to say to your boss, I have to have an abortion. Then the assumption is everyone has an office job, right? That they'll be able to do that. Not everyone has that level of employment. So it still seems like it's outside of being invasive, you're still having to get permission to go govern your own, what happens to your own body. Is there a different path that the private sector can take to make it a little less invasive?
So I think quite a few companies are seeing that there's challenges there, especially if they are dealing with issues of trust and psychological safety lacking within the corporate space. And so many of them are looking to see how can we take ourselves out of this process? How can we have our employees just work directly with their healthcare providers? Or is there a process that we can go through where we don't know what their medical condition is and they're just asking for medical travel assistance? And so they're putting other types of medical travel activities under that umbrella. So they're starting to look at ways to review their policies and see how they can help with some of that privacy. But again, this is so new that many of them are still trying to figure this out.